In this session, I'll be taking it through the demo of enhancing a reuse model. We'll be taking example of material. More or less, the steps are same or similar in other data models as well, but there will be data model specific structures which may change, and one or two steps here or there will differ. So for this session, we'll be taking an example of material, and in future, in the next video, we might put for customer, finance, and other data models. So let's understand what are the layers of MDG. We need to know the layers because these are the layers through which the data will pass, and we will have to enhance all these layers so that data can pass from the user screen to the backend tables, that is Mara table in our case. So the different layers of MDG are MDG user screen, first of all, which appears to users, and that's how they interact. They fill the data on the user screens. So definitely we would need a field there, or whatever custom field we want to put. We would need to put that on this custom screen as well, on this standard screen as well. So we'll need to enhance this standard user screen. Then user screen is directly or closely connected to data model, because data model maps to the user screen, so we will have to enhance the data model as well. Then from data model to APIs, from data model to API, we have a middle layer that is called staging layer that holds the data. It's a real database table which will hold the data until the CR is approved. So once you save the data, it doesn't go back to Mara table, it goes to staging table. If the CR is not approved, it will never go to Mara table, it will be deleted from there. Once the CR is approved, it will be copied to Mara table, and then also it will be deleted from staging. But until approval, the data stays in staging tables. So we will have to enhance the staging tables as well, because data will have to be stored temporarily somewhere. Then from staging to standard tables, it goes via SMT mapping using APIs. So APIs will have some structures, their methods will have some structures. We'll have to enhance those. We'll have to enhance the SMT structures. We'll have to do SMT mapping as well. So these are the layers before the final Mara table. And in the end, as would have been in a non-MDG scenario also, if we need a custom table in material, custom field in material, then we need to enhance the Mara table, and that's the end purpose of this. So we will enhance the Mara table as well. So then we see, let's look at what developer has to do, what he will have to do. What are the development steps to enhance all these layers? And there are 5 steps, as we saw in the previous slide. There are 5 steps for 5 layers, but the order in which we will enhance these 5 layers is a little bit different. It's in fact almost exactly opposite of what the layers were. So first we will enhance the table, then we'll enhance the API structures and the SMT structures, then we'll enhance the data model, then we will do the SMT mapping, and then we'll do the UI enhancement. So when we do a table modification, table enhancement, we'll use append structure and then set the field properties. Then while doing the API and SMT structure update, there are multiple structures that we'll need to do, we'll need to enhance, and those will be listed in this video. And those structures are mainly related to the main entity, the field properties, and other flags that will be used internally by system to identify what the field properties are, whether to show them or not, whether it is hidden. All these things will be controlled by those structures. In data model changes, we'll just add the attribute and generate the structures. In assembly mapping, we have two structures that we need to map. One is table to staging, and then staging to API. So these structures will have to enhance. In UI configuration, or UI enhancement, we mean that we'll have to bring that field. We'll have to put that field somewhere, as a user will need to fill that field to use it. So, what is the aim of this demo today? What are we trying to achieve? We are trying to create a field named ZZ code, that would be material code. It would be of length 10 characters, and this should be available in the basic data. So we'll start with the first step, modifying the Mara table. In Mara table, how do we modify a standard table? By creating append structures or include structure. Here we'll be using append structure. But remember this, we are not going to create an append for Mara. We are going to create an append for the included structure of Mara, that is eMara. So except two fields, rest of the fields are of Mara are part of eMara structure. So we will be appending eMara structure, and this is the standard way of doing it, because eMara structure has been used in all the BAPIs and everywhere, and it automatically understands that the field has to be added to the Mara structure. And trust me on this, you should do this, even if some other sites, some other blogs say that you can extend a Mara structure. It will create problems in the end. It will create problem while calling a BAPI. You might have to do additional steps there. So avoid that. Just go to eMara, append it. Create an append structure as given here. We are creating ZZ Mara underscore ext as append structure here. And we added the field ZZ code, type char 10. We don't really care about the data element right now. We can use the data element as well. We'll just save it, activate, save it in a change request. So the short description stays as character field length equal to 10. We are not worrying about it. I mean, we should have for a better demo, but I hope you understand that it doesn't really matter what description comes here. So yes, this is important point. It's taking time because it is updating the Mara table. It is the eMara structure has been used in so many places that system gets overloaded when it activates the change into that structure. So it can actually take up to 10 to 15 minutes as well. Sometimes, and if there is already some data in your Mara tables, then it's even more painful. So don't worry about it. If it is hung there, don't think that there's something wrong with your system. It's just that activating Mara changes takes time. Also, when you transport it to a higher landscape, that will also take time. It will not happen instantaneously because it will have to move there and then activate data there, activate the structures there. So here this is done. We'll go back and check if our append structure is available. Yes, it is available. It is correctly activated as well. We'll go back to the table and we'll go back to EMARA structure, see if our field is available. And then we'll check in MARA table as well if our field has been added successfully. I mean, of course, it should have been, but just to be sure, we'll check in the structures and check in the table as well. See, so yeah, our field is available with character 10 and our append is easymara underscore ext. So next time if we want to add any field, we just need to add it to this extension. We don't need to create another append every time. So eMara is fine, or Mara is fine, and now we'll go to the next step of setting up the field properties. Now, why is this done? In Material, every new field which is created is by default hidden and is non-usable. So, to make it usable, we have to set its field status group. Now, how do we do that? We go to transaction OMSR. Here, come down to Mara. Just search for your field Mara-ZZ code here in this case. So the field name will be the table name hyphen the field name. So just don't confuse it with just field name. Field name is not just field name. Field name is table hyphen the field name. So you won't find your own field because you have just created it. So we need to add an entry here, and the easiest way is pick a known field here. So we'll be going with weight unit. We will find our weight unit. We'll take this, we'll just copy it and change the field name Mara-ZZ code. So this this whole demo, this is the only step which is a customizing step. Rest of them are workbench steps. So this particular step has to be done in your configuration client, in your customizing client, and then using SCC1 or some other way, you have to move it to your development client and your testing client as well. So this is the only config step that will be doing. All others, you will need a workbench request. That's it. So our field is done, and now we are fine to go. If you need, so the description has not come yet because it's not properly completely saved. Once we save it, come out and go back, we will find the description to be automatically taken from the data element. So in this case, that is anyways non-relevant description. We'll see, because in many blogs you will see that they have mentioned go to V130F. So I think I gave the wrong view name. V_130F as the view. So you will see that it takes you to the same place. It's just a different way of calling it out. So standard transaction is OMSR, and it's better to use that one because that's the direct way of reaching to this point. But if you are not able, you don't have access to that transaction, use the view. The next step is to enhance the structures, the API structures and the SMT structure. Step 2. Now, in case of material, we have 6 structures that we need to update. Okay. Now, we might, in this case, we are adding field to the table Mara. So that means we are adding a field to the material basic data. And for that case, we have only one table. For one table, you have three structures, three main structures, and three new structures. So if you are working on MDG 9 and above, that is your 1809 and 1909, then you need to update three more structures. Okay, so what would be the structure name? If we are talking about table Mara, then it becomes MDG underscore BS underscore mat underscore S underscore Mara table, Mara structure. Okay, so if it was a plant data where we wanted a custom field, then this table would have been MARC, and likewise. So we'll see that later. So just to give you idea, these three structures and then CMD structures will be there. These three structures. So underscore UI structure is a flag field. Underscore X is also a flag field. So you underscore UI field tells the property. Underscore X means it's a flag that this particular field is relevant. So you don't have to worry about that part. It will, I mean, it's for internal use only, but our job is to update these structures. Okay, let's try to change the structure. BS mat underscore Mara. First, we'll take a look at this structure. It should be we are expecting that it should be automatically updated because we updated the eMara structure. It's not great. Yeah, display. So let's first check if our field is available. It might not be at the bottom because we updated the eMara. I mean, we have to see where it was done. So see, look at this. This is eMara structure, which we updated. And let's scroll down a bit. Why did we not use a find directly? We could have used it, but it's more fun this way, apparently. Yeah, there it is. See, the append structure, our append structures are already available here. This is a Cal10 field here as we gave while enhancing Mara. And this is very obvious because it's the same structure actually. So now we will see underscore UI. See, this is a flag structure. It's a flag. It tells about the UI property. Sorry, not a flag. It's a property structure. Your property could be hidden. Your property could be read only, but it's just a one character long. So look at the component type, the data elements. It's not talking about any length. I mean, it's all of one character. All of them are of one character. Now we will create an append structure here because our field is not there. So we will create another append structure and add this field with a proper component type. ZZ code is a field type, and what was the component? Can we keep it char1? Yes, we can keep it as char1. For now, we'll keep it as char1 and later we'll change it. We'll give a description. This is our append structure. It's fine, activated properly. We'll go back and just see if our field is added. So currently we have kept it as char1. That will work, that will still work, but not a good practice. So we'll go back and change the data element. So we are seeing that all others are created with this data element. So we will fix ours as well. We'll copy this data element, go back. Go to append structure, change it, activate it. The only difference that it makes is the domain values. So if we would have kept it as char1, it would have been same. So look at the Y test here. I mean, it's showing 10 characters. So whoever would have created it couldn't have used it on screen. And they might still be struggling. Now we'll change the X structure. X structure is also a char1 field. Every field is a char1 field, and this char1 is the Boolean field actually. Yes or no, or X or blank kind of thing. So here also our field is not available. We'll just create our append structure, and we'll use X field as the data element. Save it, TR, and activate. Back. Our field is added here. And that's fine. It all looks fine now. Yeah. All okay. Let's go back. Now we'll have to do it for CMD structures as well. Again, CMD UI and then CMDX. So first we'll check in CMD Mara, is our field there? Yes, eMara is there. Definitely our field will be there, as we expected, right? Where is our field? Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, the first one. Yeah. Our field is there. I mean, obviously it was supposed to be there, but it's good to double check. And now we'll perform the same steps for UI structure. We'll create a append, but look at the data element this time. It is different from what it was earlier. So it is something CMD underscore all this thing, and we should use the same data element.
We save this structure, activate it. Now we'll change the X structure, and again it's a X filled Boolean data element, and we'll just create our append structure here. So this is a very common place where developers make mistake, either picking up the data, either in picking up the data element or missing out at least one structure. So just remember the CMD structures are applicable 9 MDG 9 and above. So most of you would be working in those versions only. So just be always be sure that you updated all the 4 structures. Actually 6 structures, 2 would be automatically updated. Other 4 you have to update. Now we move to the third step, changing and enhancing the data model. We go to MDG IMG, we go to general settings. Inside general settings we have data model, select data model, select all the entities, find out our main entity for is material, which is also the basic data. So if you were looking for plant, you would have looked for the plant related entity. If it was sales, you would have looked for sales related entity. But here we are going to enhance in the general data, so we are just picking material entity. Inside material entity, we have so many attributes. We don't have to worry about all those attributes. We just need to create a new one. So we can just directly click on the new entries button there on the top left and add our values to it. Just for your sake, we scroll it and you can see the new entry button. You click on it, give the attribute. Try to give the attribute name same as what you gave in the table. Now, important thing about this is that entity attributes, the attribute here will allow you to use only 9 characters. Now, we give the name double Z code, data element, char10, and activate it. We activation might take some time, uh, or it might not, but and it will give this pop-up with multiple warning messages. Those are good to know, but won't stop you from doing anything else. So we go back to the data model, we activate the data model. We select the entity, doesn't matter, we select the data model and just click on the activate button. So as we saw in the first slide that there are multiple layers and staging is one of the those layers. So whatever we are doing here, while we are adjusting the data model, it will adjust several other structures which are MDG specific, and it will update the database table as well, which is which holds the staging data, which holds the data when CR is in approval. So it will update those structures as well. It will create a new field there in the staging table. So this first step is done, activation of data model. Second step, now we'll go to the second step. Second step would be to generate those structures. It's a very simple step. We just find our data model, go inside, we find our structures. So by default, you will see 6 structures for material entity. When we select all these 6 structures, and it can increase entity to entity, but for material we have 6 structures by default. We select all these and click on generate selected structures. So what system is doing? It's just finding out those structures and appending the new field that we created. So here we see the pop-up, all squares, all green, and we just move ahead. So just to be on the safe side again, we'll go to the staging tables and see if our field has been added. So go to the program usnd underscore data underscore model, go to SE38, enter this program name, execute, and give the entity and execute again. So now we need to see the check table for material entity. Material entity check table is the main table. So double click on this, and this is the database table. This would be almost similar to the Mara table, except that the field names will be different. Field names will be as per the MDG. So our custom field ZZ code has been added in the staging table. So far we are doing good. Everything is checking out, and it's a little surprising as well because it doesn't always go so smooth. Uh, Sometimes fields don't get updated. Sometimes we skip 1 or 2 steps. But so far it's working fine. Maybe because I've done this before. But for you, when you do it, it might be possible that you skip one of the steps, or you do that incorrectly, and that messes up everything that you have done after that. So don't worry about it. It just takes some bit of practice to make it right. Now we have checked our fields. It all looks good till this point, and this is step 3 only. Now we will go to step 4. Step 4 is creating the mapping. Now all the structures are generated. We just have to tell in different layers what is what maps to from UI, what maps to data model, from data model what maps to the API structures, from API structures what maps to the database tables, backend tables. And this is what we have to define here. So as I mentioned before, because we have taken the same field name ZZ code everywhere, it becomes easy for us to do this. Now in assembly mapping we have 2 structures. Okay, because this structure, a PP structure, is already open because I did some time back, and it's the default structure. I'll not use it first. There are 2 structures, as you see, MDG BS mat map 2PP and MDG BS mat map 2 STA. These are the 2 fields that we have, 2 structures that we have, which we need to edit. Now I'll just to showcase, go to SMT transaction, go to create and edit mappings. node, and it will open up a browser, most probably Internet Explorer, for you to do your work. And here I'll start with, because 2PP is default, I'll start with 2STA. Go to mappings button, click on open, give the MDG-BS mat map 2STA as the mapping name. Yes, scroll down. In this list, we have to find material root, because that's the structure that we have changed, material root. So this is Mara table, MDG BS mat and underscore Mara. This is the root structure that we need to change. Click on details. Here, click on edit directly. Go to the tab transformations. Wait a minute, it's opening the edit page. No, no, no. Yeah, go to the transformation tab. Here there is only one row, select it. Now it opens a list, but don't worry about it. We need to scroll down further to the bottom, where we should see two structures, one on left, one on right. One is target structure, one is source structure. So and there is a map button in between. It's pretty simple. You just need to know what to map with what, and which is also very obvious for us. We just need to map ZZ code to ZZ code. Okay, so here's the ZZ code on the left side, that is target structure, and here's the ZZ code on the right side, that is our source structure. And we'll click on the map button. The clicking on assign button is not really necessary. We'll just click on the map button, and that's it. That's all we needed to do. Now we'll save it. There is some issue with the TRs. I'll just fix it. Here I'm just fixing the TR issue, so please ignore. Yeah, it's saved correctly now. Now we will change the mapping structure that we need to change. We'll go to the 2PP one. Now MDG-BS map underscore 2PP. Okay, we click on this. Again, remember, go to material root. Scroll down, 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 down. Missed something there. Again, yeah, there it is. So we have material root here as well that we need to change. We'll select this, click on details, and edit. Then takes time. Then we would go to the transformation tab. So there we have two structures. We'll go to the field mappings, not to the complex transformation. We'll go to field mapping, scroll down to the bottom, expand both the structures, find ZZ code in both of them, found ZZ code in the target structure. We need to find ZZ code in the source structure as well, and then we click on the map button, and it's mapped. If you want to know, I mean, you can see that checkbox is checked for both the fields. and then we save it. We got the TR issues again for the because it's for a different structure. Let me just fix it. So SMT mapping looks very difficult, but it's actually not. If you know the field names and your entity properly. In our case, the entity was root entity, so it was even easier. Here, we just close the screen and we'll move to our next step. The next and the last step is UI modeling, where we will just add the field on the screen. That's it. And it's pretty easy. Just follow these steps, how to find. So first of all, we'll have to find the UI component where we need to add the field, and then we just need to add the field. And here no coding will be required, nothing will be required. We just first point is to find the component. I'm going through PFCG because I don't have my user ID doesn't have enough roles. I'll go to PFCG. You can go from NWPC as well. All you need to do is you need to go to this create material screen to find out which component is it. So it's always the same component, but this is standard way of finding out the component name. Standard means this is very common way of finding out the component name and very accurate because you are finding it right from the screen. And wait, the screen is opening. It's taking time. Am I missing something? Let's see. So we'll pick any CR type here. CR type is not our concern. We don't know who created those. But I believe it will take us to the screen, correct screen. So it's taking time again. Okay, we got it. This is the root cause here. Post-processing of data model activation is not complete. So this is one step that I missed earlier. But you remember it? When you activate a data model, when you make a change to the data model and you activate it, you have to do the post-processing. That is, adjust the data model. Now, what this does, this adjusting the data model, that helps you in adjusting the existing data as existing values and existing mappings between UI and data model. All these things will be adjusted automatically in the backend, but this step you have to do manually. Go to data model, MDG-M, go to data, edit data model, select the data model, click on the adjust staging program button, and it will do the adjusting. This you can do separately as well using USMD underscore adjust underscore staging program. Just go to SE38, execute it, give the data model, and that's all. So now, when do you need to do this? Every time you make a change to a data model, you have to do this. And when the TRs, your transports move to higher environment, then also you need to do it in each of the environment. You have to execute that USMD adjust staging program in each of the environment, even in production when it goes. Otherwise, you will see the same warning, post-processing warning again and again. You might even face some dumps. We are not creating CR actually, we are just trying to find out the components. So, but we go to the create screen uh, in a regular fashion. Uh, we see where do we want to add the field. We want to add the field in the basic data. Under the basic data, we will add the field under material group here. Screen, we right click, click on technical settings, and this part tells you what is the component and what is the component configuration being used. Okay, so component here is fpm form uibb underscore gl2, and configuration is written under it. We go to SEAT. Let's just copy the component name first. Let's go to SEAT, select WebDin Pro component configuration, give the name which we copied from there, then select the component configuration name, and under component configuration tab node, just find this particular value which you see here. So where is our value? If we just scroll down a bit, we can see that. So that is ending with 05, so it's very confusing. We need to know exact component always, because you can see 03, 04, 05, 06 all are available. So you cannot always rely on your memory. You have to see it in practical way. This gives you the most accurate way of finding out which component you want to edit. So we will select 05 and double click on it. It will open the WebDim Pro component for this, the FPM component, and from where we can wait a minute, it's taking some time. Yeah, it will give you a pop-up, say allow, and it opens up the WebDim Pro component. We click on display configuration. Click on display configuration, and that should again open up the configuration in web browser. So this is important, that sometimes you have to find out the component from your testing client and use it in development client. There is a direct way of clicking on that component and reaching to this particular screen where we are going now. But in practical scenarios, I mean, you should go from your check the component name from your test client, and this way, the way we are using here, I mean, you should go to SEAD, find out the component, click on display configurator, and then do the changes. Now, this is your configuration screen. It has opened up all the UIBBs. Everything it is showing here is in development mode. So these are all list of all UIBBs on the main OVP screen. Um, this is the general data. We have uh, all the fields appearing here, and on left hand side you see the field list. Okay, and which should carry our custom field as well. This is the preview screen. It becomes easy drag and drop kind of thing, or at least you can select and pick where do you want to add a field. You can either drag from here, or you can first of all, we have to enhance it. We can edit it, but that's not acceptable anymore now. In standard, you cannot edit a standard UIB directly, so we will pick enhancement. There are multiple ways of doing it. There's a You can do it through configuration, customizing, you can do through CBA. A lot of other ways are there, but for now we will use enhancement. In later classes, we will see what all options are there to enhance a UIBB or to enhance a screen. So we will do this. We'll pick a TR. We created an enhancement. We pick the TR. That's it. So everything now, whatever we change, in this, we'll go to that particular enhancement now. So we select material group because below it we want to add an element. We go to elements, we click on add element button there. And from a list opens up. From this list, we pick our field, which doesn't have any description. That's bad because, yeah, we did not use proper data element anywhere. Now here, we can give the description separately as well. That would be the field label text. We click on the new field, and the bottom part, the bottom bar, shows the property of that particular element. So in this case, easy code. So we will see, we will give the label text and then see the column, start column, end column. Uh, that that way we can handle what should be the width of it. So if it is 10 character, we picked 2 columns only. Like it extends from D column to E column, and that's it. So now we saved it. We just save it. There's no activate button here. I mean, if you are an developer, you would try to find an activate button, but this is not how it works because it's a configuration after all. So it's just save. Once you save it, it will be saved in each of the clients, so it will be available directly. All we need to do now is test it. Okay, let's go to testing part. For testing, we again go to new screen, search screen. Yeah, it's loading again. In MDG, a lot of time we spend just waiting for the screens to appear. And we go to search screen, we create a new material, pick the first CR type, click OK. I don't know what kind of workflow is there in the first CR type. I don't really care. I'll be approving it from backend, but for the sake of this demo, we'll just go ahead to so screen appeared. I'll give the minimum number of fields which are required to create a material here in this configuration. But can we see our field? Okay, yes, we can see our material code field as well there. So let's start filling EA as basic unit of measure, material type Hava, and industry sector M. Now we'll give our material code. Well, it's a 10 character field. We can give 1, 2, or any number of characters here. It is maximum 10 character field. So I've given it as 12. I'll just enter one material description as well, test material code, and submit it. Okay. After submit, we are not going through approval process and all. I believe it would have been covered in the process modeling and workflow session, but we'll just directly see the result. So currently workflow is being processed. When we clicked on this, we'll refresh it, and it is final check approved, and material number is generated as well. Now we'll see the end goal is to get this value material code which we entered as 1 to 12 to appear in Mara table, and that was the end goal of this. So we'll place this material number and see if I go to next screen because it's a custom field, it should be near to end. And let's see, scroll on. Yeah, here you go. This is easy code field. The value has been saved properly, and that settles our complete flow. And just If you follow this video properly, every single step, you will see the same result with you. But in practical scenario, whatever you do, you might or most probably are going to uh, lose at least one of the steps or miss one of the steps or do it incorrectly, and that's totally normal. It will happen first time, it will happen second time also, it can happen multiple times. But once you have done enough practice, that's where you will become perfect in this. And just like this, it happened for me in the first time itself, it will happen to you as well. And if it is already happening in the first time with you, that's really excellent. So in this session, we saw how we extended material reuse model, data model. So most of the steps, there are 5 steps that we were discussing, and out of the 5 steps, 3 of the steps from data model change to UI model changing are the only steps required for a flex. I mean, I'm not saying that those are part of it. Those are the only steps which we need for flex model, because flex model doesn't depend on the backend table. So you don't really have to worry about the backend tables or SMT mapping or anything, because you don't want to send the data there. You just want to keep it till staging. So whatever happens in staging, data model and UI model, that's the only thing which is applicable here. The rest of the things will not be required in a flex model. So flex model here, I'm talking about finance, or if you have any custom flex model. So, but this reuse steps that we used, the first and second step will be applicable for standard data model, standard reuse model as well. That is customer, supplier, or BP. BP is the actual data model. So we'll have to follow that. I'll give specific training on that session, that as well. Just keep following this channel, and in comments you can ask any question you want. If you have the email ID and a WhatsApp number mentioned on this, on the first screen, just reach out to me anytime, and we will try to answer as many questions as we can. Or if you need session on particular topic, do let us know. We provide separate trainings as well. If you need the complete course, we can provide you that as well. Just WhatsApp us and we'll help you in whatever way we can. Thank you.